So I've been writing in my journal, right? Writing, walking, and everything. And I came to some sort of conclusion, right? I truly feel like the real Matrix isn't what Andrew Tate and them thought of being the Matrix, right? I feel like the real Matrix is allowing yourself to live life on autopilot. The real Matrix isn't just technology or society. It's living every day, constantly in a reactive state, letting the world choose your mood, habits, identity, and direction before you ever choose anything for yourself, right? The real Matrix is living your life on autopilot and thinking you're free because nobody is physically telling you to stop. The real Matrix is living your life on autopilot and thinking you're free because nobody is physically stopping you, right? You can live your life one of two ways: reactive or proactive. And I think a lot of people are physically free, but mentally, they've given all their mental space up. They paid the price. They're just reactive and reacting every day. I notice this a lot, especially on the highways, right? When there's like someone honking, like they get mad at someone doing something because people drive stupidly. It's part of life, right? And people will just sit there and they'll honk their horn, and then the person that's in the wrong will honk their horn back like nothing, like they did nothing wrong. And it's like, yo, like, chill. Both of y'all are reacting, right? But let's get to it, right? My first point is the reactive life gives the world the first move. Like, you know how chess, there's moves, right? And you have the first move, and the first move can set you up to win big, right? When you wake up immediately, a lot of people wake up and go on their phones. You're giving the world your reactions. Because you could wake up, you could be in a decent mood. You wake up and you see some negative stuff. This thing happened, whether it's political, social, anything happened, and then boom, your mood is completely ruined for the day. You gave your reaction to the world. The world chose your reaction for you. You react to notifications. People text you some negative stuff, right? Or something, you'll see a negative comment if you post videos or something negative, right? People, a negative opinion. You react to emotions, temporary emotions, because emotions are temporary. They're not permanent, right? Certain emotions only in that moment. It won't stay unless you allow it to stay and linger, right? Reactions to lust. People all of the time, it's like they feel that pull and instantly feel like, oh, I gotta get this out. I gotta go goon or something negative. You know what I'm saying? Release all of it when you can just allow yourself to release. And I'm saying this, bro, like that I call it like my venom. I call it venom. Like, I feel like lust is everybody's venom. You know what I'm saying? Like, the symbiote made Peter Parker worse. Lust is generally like the venom. You know what I'm saying? Like, it brings out the worst aspects of you to the forefront. And you just have to combat it, like how Peter Parker did in Spectacular Spider-Man, You react to the algorithm. The algorithm is specifically designed to keep you in a negative mind state all day. Do you notice how people make profit from negativity? It's lit somewhere in my book right here, right? Somewhere in this book, I talk about how they are literally making money off of your negativity, off of your emotions, off of your emotional fortitude, right? Or lack thereof. Reaction, like I said earlier, to people's opinions. And reaction to whatever mood you wake up in. Because you could have had a crazy, terrible dream and wake up and let that dictate your whole day. Or you could change it. Right? Reactive life is basically saying that the world gets the first move every day. And if you don't choose your direction, someone else or something else will choose it for you. And if you live a life like that, you're going to be miserable. To be real with you, right? Autopilot feels normal because it's familiar. We are used to it. For however long we've been on this earth prior to learning these things. The scary part is autopilot doesn't always feel like a prison. It feels comfortable. There's a phrase, and it's such an iconic saying, right? And I'm gonna write it down, and because I really want people to understand, like, this is like some real, like, serious, like, real shit, right? Like, it's so simple, right? Boom. So I wrote these two things, and it's simple. The road to heaven, I write like a doctor. People tell me I write like a doctor. The road to heaven feels like hell, and the road to hell feels like heaven. And it's the most true statement ever. You notice how when you engage, do you notice that when you do the things that make you feel good in the moment, later on it taxes you in other aspects? When you give into lust, you feel drained of your energy. When you give into drinking or weed or any drugs, right? Not saying like, I'm not going to be the person who's like, oh, don't do drugs, right? Do what you want to do, right? But I'm saying when you do them, right? And you wake up and you're hungover and you're completely out of it, right? You're paying the price for something. Versus the road to hell, the heaven feels like hell. When you're working out every day, you may feel sore. When you're avoiding going to lust loops, you may feel so much energy, which is why you have to transmute it and do other things, right? When you do all the things that feel hard in the moment, you may not see it initially, but the compounding, slowly but surely builds up, and eventually you will thank yourself 6 months in advance, right? The road to heaven feels like hell, and the road to hell feels like heaven. Such a simple concept. But autopilot, here's some examples, right? Scrolling when you're uncomfortable instead of just facing the shadow, facing what's wrong. I feel like we would go so much further as a society if we faced our shadow, if we faced our problems, if we just faced it and say what's happening, what's wrong. Avoiding the first rep. We always have these elaborate 50-step plans that expect everything to go perfectly the way we want it to. Or we'll say, oh, we're going to do it this time. We're going to do this. We're this time. I promise this time, right? When you just starting the first rep will progress you so much further than if you keep living in this, I'm going to wait for the perfect moment to start, right? Letting one bad moment become a bad day. We do this a lot, and it's a subconscious thing. We let one bad moment in life, we get rejected, someone cuts in front of us while driving, someone yells some obscenities at us. All these things that could ruin our days, we allow to ruin our days when we could just say, okay, whatever. We may feel the emotion in the moment, but we don't have to let it dictate the rest of our days. We can still have a good day, right? Consuming more than creating. I was a big, and I still am at times. Like this catches me, you know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of artists now are trapped in this part where they're consuming more than creating, because a lot of them do things that other people do and move the same as other people. Like they don't have any creativity anymore. I feel like they're consuming and trying to be like this other person, or trying to stay in the wave than just creating, Reading a creative act, it is intentional that we have times where we don't create, and we have times where we disappear and not consume and just be in nature and be just around nothing, be around stillness, because stillness can provide the ideas necessary to push the agenda and push further newer ideas in creation. And waiting for motivation instead of choosing direction. Not every day is going to be perfect when you choose the road of heaven, right? Every day is not going to be perfect. If you relied on motivation to accomplish goals, you're not accomplishing shit. I'm gonna just keep it a bug with you. You know what I'm saying? You're not accomplishing nothing in life. Nothing is going to be accomplished after a while, because you're going to feel motivation for a couple of days, and then you're going to be like, oh, this is hard, and then stop, right? You have to keep going when you feel like shit. Even if you turn it down, like you don't do as much as you usually do, but you still do enough to push the agenda forward, right? Do what pushes the agenda forward. You don't have to do this 7-process workout every single day when you're burnt. If you're burnt, even just going on a treadmill for 15 minutes and calling it a day, that's putting in work. Regardless, you're still putting effort in every day compared to waiting for motivation, because motivation can only get you so far. Motivation can only get you so far. A loop can feel like identity if you repeat it long enough. Anything can feel like identity if you repeat it long enough. But we can break it. But we don't understand that the prison isn't always obvious. Sometimes it feels like what we're used to, what's normal, right? Now, being proactive doesn't mean controlling the entire day. It means choosing one clean action before the world gets to pull you everywhere. Having a morning routine, staying off your phone for the first hour or 2 hours a day, if possible. Having a video that you watch that teaches you something every day. Having affirmations that you play. I like to play affirmations, and it helps immensely with bringing me back to my goals, my visions, and staying centered. Right? One walk, a prayer. If you're religious, talk to the man above. A creative rep, a money rep, one clean decision. You don't have to be in control of the whole day. You can be in control of yourself. You can be in control of how you react and how you respond and what you choose to do forward, right? It means choosing one clean action before the world gets to pull you everywhere. That's basically what having a proactive life, living a proactive life is. You can let the world happen as it is, but you can still choose the right decision and the right direction to make, right? You don't build systems to become a robot. You build systems so you stop living like everybody else. You build things to ensure that the bad doesn't happen and the good is easier to happen, right? Proactive life starts when you give the day a command before the world gives your energy a master. Be the master of your own life, is what I'm saying. And I'm not saying this like I'm above it, right? I'm saying this because I know how easy it is to wake up and let one notification, one urge, one thought, or one emotion decide who I am for that day or week or month. There was a period in time this year that I went through it. Something happened, and maybe one day I get into it, right? But something happened and it set me back a lot. I had been going through. I was a bed potato. I was in my bed. My friends would try and get me to be social. There were times where I was social and nothing, but then there were times where I just didn't want to do it, and there were times where I cry and everything like that. And it took me saying and putting my foot down and saying, "Yo, we're gonna change and get through this shit," right? For me to finally see progress, and that is one of the best decisions I've ever made. So I'm not telling y'all like I'm above it. I still feel the thoughts. I still feel the old residual emotions. I still feel the pulls. I still feel the urges. I still feel everything. You feel what I'm saying? But I choose not to let it move me. I choose, no matter how hard it may be in the moment, not to let it consume me. Why? Because in the end, I know what I'm building toward and I know what I want. You can either live life reactively or proactively. You have the option to choose. One lets the world use your energy, or the other, the latter, teaches you how to direct it. You can direct your life like a movie if you want to. Love y'all. Peace.